am cherishing today, because this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Thanks for joining me. Today we will be modifying a mini companion backpack into a handlebar bag. It can be used on anything from a bicycle to a stroller or even a walker. We will also be omitting the interior and exterior zipper pockets. So instead of turning the entire bag through a small opening, we will be using binding to finish the seams. Let's go over what we need.
For the exterior, we're going to omit the front flap in order to showcase this fabric with the dinosaur on the front. So we need one main exterior. You need 2 of your side panels. You're going to need 2 of your side pockets for the exterior and 2 side pockets for the lining. You're also going to need your upper panel, and you're going to need your back lower panel. Okay, now we need our zipper tape and our 2 zipper pulls and a logo or tag if you want to use one. What we need in this version is we're going to need 2 of these loops. We're going to call them a loop. We also need 2 of the D-ring connectors for the top, and we're going to need 2 of the D-ring tabs for the side. You'll need 2 clasps, and you'll need 4 of your D-rings. As you can see, there are not any zipper pocket pieces here. We are going to actually omit our zipper pockets on the exterior and the interior. For your interior, you're going to need your main lining. And again, we are going to omit the zipper pockets, both on the interior and the exterior. And we are able to do this because we are going to bind the edges. So we're not needing the zipper pocket in order to turn it right side out. You also need your 2 side panels. You're going to also need your back lining for slip pocket, your front lining for slip pocket, and your front inside lining for slip pocket. We have to do a little prep work to get started. We're going to need to make our D-ring tabs. So we take our D-rings, put them inside of the webbing, and then clip it together with a clip. We're going to do that for all of our D-rings. All right, now I went ahead and punched my holes right here, and we're going to thread our clasp in, catch it in between there, and put our rivet through. And there we go. All right, and now we're going to set our rivets. And that one's set. Set the second one. And that one is also set. Now we can take these parts and we can take the D-ring tabs and we can baste them right here with about an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Now that we have basted all of our D-ring tabs closed, we're going to take 2 of them, and we're going to take each of them and align them up with the strap for the clasp, just like that. So let's do both of them. And then we're going to take these 2 to the machine and we're going to baste them together. With these now basted into place, we can set them aside. The next step is to take our side pocket panels And we're going to put them right sides together, the lining and the exterior, and clip them in place. Then we're going to take them to the machine and we're going to sew right along the top edge. Okay, now that we've sewn the top edge, we're going to trim off the little angles into the corners to reduce seam allowance bulk. Then we are going to flip them so that it's wrong sides together. Okay. And we're going to take it to the machine and we're going to top stitch along the top of each edge, and then we're going to baste the entire way around it. Okay, we've top stitched and we basted around the edges. We want to find our center mark. So you'll fold it in half, match it up, and I like to put just a little bitty snip right here in the corner. After you've done that, you're going to take your ruler and you're going to measure over, make your mark, make your mark. Then you're going to measure this way, make your mark, make your mark. And then you're going to repeat that for the opposite pocket. Make your mark, make your mark, make your mark, make your mark. Okay? Now that you've made your mark, you're going to take right here at the first mark, closest to the center, and you're going to fold it. Okay? Then you're going to take where the second mark is here, and you're going to fold it. And you're creating a pleat. It should get right there at the middle is where your fold should be. And we're going to repeat that for the opposite side. So fold it. See that second mark there? Fold it. And put your clip. And that is how you make the pleats in your side panel. I'm going to grab a side panel piece here and show you how it lines up. Keep your pleats. Line it up along the bottom edge here. And then fold it up, or I should say, and then line it up along the side edge. Do that on the other side too. And there we go. We have our little side pocket. What you're going to do after that is you're going to take it to the machine and you're going to baste it all the way around the pocket. So let's set that aside and repeat. And there we go. Both of our side pockets are prepared. We just need to baste around the outside edges. Sometimes you may need some type of hump jumper to get over the pleats, depending on the thickness of your fabric. All right, these are now prepared, so we're going to set them aside. Now we're going to grab our lining pocket. So we need our back lining for slip pocket, and we need our back slip pocket lining, and we need our front lining for slip pocket. What you're going to do is you're going to take this right side up, and you're going to take this right side down, and you're going to line it up along the top edge, and you're going to clip it in place. We're going to take it to the machine and we're going to sew across the top edge with the seam allowance designated in the tutorial. Okay, with the top edge sewn, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to snip angles to reduce the bulk. Then you're going to press it where they're both right sides out and clip it in place. We're going to take it to the machine and we're going to top stitch along this top fold. All right, with this edge top stitched, we're going to lay our back lining for slip pocket right side up. We're going to flip this front lining for slip pocket out of the way, and then you're going to see these little wings and they will match up. So you're going to match them up, and it should match up all the way around. Okay. With the front lining for slip pocket out of the way, you're going to take this to the machine and you're going to sew basically around from the winged edge, down, over, up, and back along the winged edge. And this will seal up our slip pocket. So let's take it to the machine. All right, we have now closed this slip pocket, so we can set this piece aside. Now we're going to take out the back upper panel. You're going to take the bottom edge, fold it in half, take your scissors and snip a tiny little snip right at the corner, and that will give you your center mark. Then you're going to take it from your center mark. You're going to take your ruler and a marking pen. I use these friction. And you measure over, make your mark, measure over, and make your mark. Then you're going to take out your little straps that you made here. And you're going to have it so that the longer one is in the back. And you're going to line it up at the mark and clip it in place. Do the same thing for the other one. Then we're going to take this to the machine and we are going to baste these in place. Okay, we have these basted into place now, and we're going to take our back lower panel and we're going to lay it wrong side up with the top aligned with the bottom of the upper panel. Okay, and then we're going to clip it in place. And then we'll take it to the machine and we'll sew across this top edge of the back lower panel. Okay, now that we've sewn along here, we're going to trim down our corners of our seam allowance to reduce bulk. Then we're going to lay it just like this, where the seam allowance is down. We're going to fold the lower portion down. That way the seam allowance stays behind the lower portion. Okay, and I'm going to clip just the side edges here. And we're going to top stitch right along this seam. You want to make sure that the seam allowance is behind the lower panel. All right, let's go take it and top stitch it. All right, we've now top stitched along this panel, and I want to add some rivets to these. I didn't want them to be in my seam allowance, so I made sure to wait. I turned them wrong side up like this because I do not want to catch this top strap in it. Use my hole punch and punch my holes. And I did that on both of these D-rings. Now I'm going to add the rivets and set them. All right, these are now ready to add our zipper tape. So I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to work with the one without the straps first. Just my front panel, just plain Jane. I'm going to line it up where the panel is right side up and the zipper tape is right side down. Okay, We're going to take this to the machine and we're going to baste it into place. So let's take this to the machine. Okay, we have basted this into place. Now we are going to take our lining panel that's going to be on the same side as the front, and we are going to put it right side down so that the two panels are right sides together, and clip it into place. Make sure that the arms, the edges of your arms, are lined up. All right, and we're going to take this and we're going to sew along this top edge with the seam allowance designated in your tutorial. All right, we have sewn all the way from end to end. This is different than the tutorial for whenever you're going to turn it. If you're going to turn it, this is a totally different procedure. So, because we're not turning it, we're binding it. This is how we're doing it now. So, you're going to take and you're going to turn where they are wrong sides together. They should line up evenly at your arm corners. And I like to put a clip there to hold them. And basically you're just folding them front and back right at the seam allowance you just made. And you can take your iron and press it. If you're using any type of vinyl, you need to be careful with that. And we're going to take this to the machine and we're going to top stitch right along this edge. And again, I just want to remind you that if you are doing the turn version where you have to turn it through one of your zipper pockets, you will be stopping and starting at a mark. You have to follow the tutorial for that procedure. This is for binding. Here's our front panel with the zipper attached. Now we're going to take our back panel that has been prepared. We're going to fold these straps out of the way. And we're going to turn it wrong side up and line it up with the right side of the front panel zipper. All right, I'm going to open it just to give you kind of an idea of what it's going to look like. Just like this. So keep those straps out of the way and baste it on across this top edge. All right, now that we've basted this onto our zipper tape, we're going to turn it over so that your lining side is showing. Then you're going to take the lining with the slip pocket and you're going to put it right side together with the inside lining. Line it up along the edge of the zipper tape. Okay. Again, this is a different procedure than turning it through the zipper pocket. If you were turning it through the zipper pocket, right now you would be measuring over and drawing a line, because on the lining portion itself, you only want to sew from one line to the next line. That is on the turning portion. Because we're doing it as a binding, you can sew from edge to edge. So let's take it to the machine and sew it on with the seam allowance designated in the tutorial. Okay, with this sewn, we're now going to fold the lining up and press it. And we're going to fold the exterior down and press it. Again, I like to put a clip here. We want the seam allowance to be going towards the outer edge of the arm. Like that. And like that. And whenever we sew, we want to make sure we keep our little straps out of the way. And we're going to go top stitch this. Okay, we have now top stitched on each side of the zipper tape. Now we want to add our zipper pulls before we forget. The easiest way to add a zipper pull is to look and see which tooth is on top. Right now, it is this tooth right here on top. So you want to end up with that tooth on top. And there we go. So you put one on from one side, and then you come over here, you look at this side and you see which tooth is on top. Again, it's the one on the right. And you just kind of fiddle with it a little bit. Oh, it's the wrong one. I'll just barely click it. Hear it click. Move it, and there you go. Okay, so now we have both of our zipper pulls on, one from each side. Before I go any further, let's put this to the side for a moment. I'm going to take out my side panels with the pockets. Now I want to utilize one of these little tags here. So I'm going to put my little tag right here above where the pocket attaches. You can put yours anywhere you want. You can actually take your front panel, and of course you have to measure up to figure out where the bottom is. But you can take your front panel here and place it anywhere on the front panel. If you're doing the flap, you could center it in the middle of the flap. Totally your decision, whichever way you want to go about that. So this is what we're going to do.
To prevent you from making the same mistake I did, now is the time to add the D-rings between the zipper tape and exterior side panels.
We're going to take our side here. We're going to take our side panel. We're going to line it up right centered. Okay. Turn it over. We're going to do the same thing with the other side panel. Now, this is a totally different procedure because we are not turning it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our other side panel. You're going to put it right sides together. You're going to clip it in place. If you wanted, you can baste one side and then come back and do the other. For time's sake, I'm just going to do them both at once. Okay, then we're going to take these to the machine and we're going to sew them both on right now with the seam allowance designated in the pattern. I'm going to go back here where the zipper tape ends, and I'm going to sew over it a few times back and forth. Again, I'm going to sew back and forth over the zipper tape right here within the seam allowance. All right, I'm going to reduce the bulk on the corners. Take and trim it, each of your corners. All right, one side at a time. Take your exterior and turn it out. Take your lining and turn it out, and clip each corner. Repeat for this side. All right. Now we're going to take this to the machine, and we're going to top stitch along the top edge of each of the side pockets. We're also going to baste on our little label here. Okay, do you see what I did? I forgot to put the D-rings in, so I'm gonna seam rip and get those fixed, and then we'll come back. Okay, we fixed our boo-boo. We've got our D-ring tabs in here now. Now we're going to take our bottom panels here for the exterior. We're gonna line them up, clip them, and do the same thing for the other side. Take them to the machine and sew them with the seam allowance designated in the tutorial. Let's take and sew both of these bottom panels. Okay, both of your bottom edges are sewn, right sides together. Now we're going to take our, I went ahead and unzipped it, and we're going to flip it so that our lining is right side out and our exterior is on the inside. Then I'm going to lay the seam allowances opposite. We're going to nest them. One's going to go one way, and the other's going to go the other way. We're going to clip those together to hold them in place. And you want to make sure that you have them the same on the opposite side. Okay. Now you're going to take your angle here, okay, your 90-degree angle, and you're going to fold it together. And you want to clip it. When you get to these pockets, you want to make sure that the puff is down inside. You do not want to catch that. And you want to make sure everything's lined up. All your edges are evenly aligned. And clip these two pocket pieces together, and then we're going to come down here to the lining and put it together. Okay, here we go. Now, do you see where that indentation is for the side panel? That is your seam allowance. And what we're going to need to do is take our scissors and snip just into that on both the exterior and the lining panel. As you see, I snipped it right there. Okay. And we're going to come to the other side here. And where the 90-degree angle is, we're going to fold it again and clip it. Make sure all of your side edges are lined up evenly. Clip this together just to hold it in place till I get there. Okay. And right there. Now we're at the bottom here again of one of the side panels. And we are going to need to snip it right there where the indentation is. There we go. And that relieves the tension. And then you're going to pull both the bottoms of this side panel out, and it should line up evenly with the bottom. Transfer your clip. And that's one side. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing to the other side here. Make sure your straps are in. Right? Fold it over, 90-degree angle, and fold it together. I'm going to come down to the bottom and clip those. It's easier that way. Again, we're down here at the bottom, so we need to snip into the indentation. Look at my little strap came out over here on the side. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. Okay. And we need to snip over here. Pull the side panel out. Knit up. There we go. Now all we have to do is sew both sides and the bottom of each side with the seam allowance designated in the tutorial. All right, you might want to reach in and make sure that nothing's going to get caught. All right, we have sewn around each the sides, down each side, and across each bottom. Before I trim anything or anything like that, I do want to turn it right side out so that I can see and make sure that I caught everything I wanted to catch and I didn't catch anything I didn't want to catch, and I could fix it. So turn it right side out. Got your corners. All right. Oh, it turned out just like it's supposed to look. Little side pockets. These right here are going to serve the purpose of clipping them around the handlebars of my daughter's bicycle. See? But that would be also good on a stroller or anything like that. And then I also have done the side rings so that you can clip a handle on it or shoulder. So there we go. Perfect. Now we're going to turn it back wrong side out so that we can trim down the excess fabric on the seam allowance. And then we are going to bind it to make this a prettier finish. So there we go. Let's trim it down. All right, so we're going to take our scissors. We're going to trim down to about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. Be careful not to snip into your stitching. You got to do the bottom too. And repeat for the other side. Okay. Now take your binding. You're going to want to fold it over at the top, your center, and clip it in place. Okay, when I get down here to the bottom, I'm going to take it and fold it like this. We're going to do that over here also. Get to the corner. Line it up over here. Just leave it loose for a minute. You see where the sewing ends? Just come up a little ways, cut it, and then fold it down. So fold it over, right there, clip it at the top. And then we're going to repeat for the other side. And we are going to fold it over. And when we take it to the machine, we're going to sew this with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Just the bottoms. All right. And the last thing to do is to take this to the machine and sew the binding into place. And sometimes it helps to have some hemostats. All right, our binding is now on around each side. Before I flip it around, I want you to see that one of the smaller iPhones will fit in this mini pocket. Now, the actual larger iPhones will fit in the bag, but not in the pocket. Now, we're going to flip it right side out. Again, poke out all your corners. Okay. There we go. And you can attach a shoulder strap if you want. One last thing that I would like to do is I would like to add rivets directly under these shoulder strap tabs right here on the side panel. So I'm going to punch my holes and I'll be right back. Okay, I have already punched my holes And I also did use some fray check. Use whatever's easiest to punch the holes with, whether it's a hand tool like this or a punch like this. Then you're going to add your rivet. Now let's set them. All right, everything is complete. There's your mini companion backpack made into a bicycle bag.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as we enjoyed sharing it with you. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to like and share. And while you're at it, check out some of our other tutorials. We love to see your creations, so please share and tag Cherishing Today when you do. And don't forget to join our Facebook group, Cherishing Today Designs, for more inspiration.